The last resort. The Galactic Commerce Council's headquarters loomed over New Singapore's skyline like a twisted crystal growing from the earth. Inside the towering structure, Chairman Ixel of Stellar Routes Limited watched the latest security footage with all four of his eyes closed in defeat. The recording showed yet another of his cargo vessels being methodically stripped by the Nexus pirates, their advanced technology making short work of his company's best defenses. That's the seventh ship this quarter, his security chief, a Verdani named Call, reported. The plant-based being's leaves had taken on a distinctly brown tinge, a sure sign of stress. Their quantum tunneling technology bypasses every shield configuration we develop. We're always 3 steps behind. Ixel's secondary hearts constricted as he processed the numbers. Stellar Routes had been his life's work, built from a single salvaged freighter into one of the sector's largest shipping companies. Now it was all crumbling because of these pirates who seemed to have an answer for every conventional security measure. The board is meeting in an hour, Cal continued. They'll want solutions. Conventional solutions are what got us here, Ixel muttered, his 4 eyes opening one by one as an idea began forming. He reached for his quantum pad and pulled up a file he'd been avoiding for weeks. Tell me, Call, what do you know about humans? The Verdani's leaves rustled in surprise. The Deathworlders. They're insane. Their planet has such high gravity and atmospheric pressure that they evolved to be practically indestructible. They drink poison for pleasure and deliberately seek out dangerous situations for fun. The last word was spoken with a mixture of horror and fascination. And what if that's exactly what we need? Ixel expanded the file, showing footage of human military operations. Look at their combat doctrine. It's completely unpredictable. They don't follow any of the standard tactical protocols. Sir, you can't be serious. Call's leaves were now trembling. The insurance implications alone. The insurance implications of bankruptcy are worse. Ixel closed the file with a decisive gesture. I've already made contact with a human security firm. They're sending a team of 5 operators. 5. For our entire operation. They assured me that's all they need. Ixel rose from his chair, his tall frame unfolding to its full 3 meters. The pirates have adapted to every logical security measure we've implemented. Perhaps it's time we tried something illogical. The board meeting went exactly as poorly as Ixel had expected. The announcement of human security contractors sent his fellow executives into various states of biological distress. The crystalline director actually cracked from shock, requiring emergency repairs. They are barbaric. Director Zen, a collective consciousness of gas-based beings, swirled in agitation. Did you know they continue fighting even after losing limbs? They call it walking it off. Precisely, Ixel replied calmly. The pirates have developed countermeasures for every standard security protocol in the galaxy. But how do you develop countermeasures against a species that doesn't follow protocols at all? By going bankrupt when they destroy half our fleet in some crazy scheme. Director Pell, an energy being, flickered rapidly. We're going bankrupt anyway, Ixel countered, displaying the latest projections. Our loss rate is unsustainable. We need something the pirates haven't adapted to. Something they can't predict. But humans? Zin's swirling became more erratic. They challenged a Category 5 storm to a fight on their homeworld. They call it storm chasing. They're mentally unstable. They're survivors, Ixel corrected. Their planet tried to kill them in thousands of ways, and they turned every threat into a sport. They don't just survive. They thrive on chaos. The debate raged for hours, but in the end, the numbers spoke for themselves. Stellar Routes was dying, and conventional solutions had failed. The human security team would arrive in 3 days. As Ixel left the boardroom, Call fell into step beside him. The human team leader sent their equipment requirements, sir. The Verdani's leaves had now taken on a distinctly yellowish hue. Some of these items, they want to modify our cargo containers with something called glitter bombs, and request permission to install home alone protocols, whatever those are. Approve it all, Ixel said, feeling his secondary hearts flutter with either hope or terror. He wasn't sure which. And call. Better warn the crew. Things are about to get interesting. Interesting, sir. That's the human word for chaos. Culture shock. The human security team's shuttle docked with all the grace of a charging rhino. Ixel watched through the observation window as his docking master had a minor meltdown over their complete disregard for standard approach vectors. The humans had insisted on manual control, claiming automated systems were too predictable. Captain Sarah Chen stepped out first, her compact frame betraying nothing of the Deathworlder strength within. Behind her came her team. Rodriguez, the weapons specialist. Wong, their tech expert. Peters, the tactical officer. And Martinez, their logistics coordinator. They looked deceptively normal in their standard void suits, but their casual disregard for the station's artificial gravity spoke volumes about their species' resilience. Chairman Ixel. Chen extended her hand, then smoothly shifted to a formal bow when she noticed his hesitation. Thank you for trusting us with your security needs. We've reviewed your situation and have some unconventional solutions. Unconventional is why we hired you, Ixel replied, gesturing for them to follow him to the briefing room. He noticed how they instinctively spread out, never bunching together, a habit from their predator past, he'd read. The briefing room was packed with department heads, all maintaining a noticeable distance from the humans. Wong immediately began setting up what looked like archaic projection equipment. First, Chen began without preamble. We need to address your cargo container configurations. They're too standardized. Pirates can scan and crack them in their sleep. Rodriguez stepped forward, grinning. We're going to introduce some chaos into the system. Every container gets a different security setup. Some will have traditional shields. Others will have fake shields hiding physical barriers. Some will be decoys. Some will be traps. Traps. Cowles Leaves shuddered. That's against Maritime Safety Protocol 447B. Pirates don't follow protocols, Peters pointed out. Why should we? Besides, we're not talking about lethal measures, just discouragements. Martins pulled up an image of what looked like an explosion of shimmering particles. This is a glitter bomb, completely harmless, but it marks everything it touches with traceable, nearly impossible to remove particles. Pirates hate being traceable. And this, Wong added, switching the display, is what we call a honeypot container. Looks valuable, heavily guarded, practically begging to be stolen. But inside, she trailed off with a grin that made several alien executives recoil. Inside what? Ixel prompted, his secondary hearts racing with both anxiety and excitement. Let's just say it'll be an experience they won't forget, but can't prove happened. Chen answered diplomatically. Plausible deniability is important. The briefing continued, each proposal more outrageous than the last. The humans wanted to install what they called funhouse modifications to certain cargo volts, artificial gravity fluctuations, holographic mazes, and something called Kevin McAllister protocols that made the security chief's leaves turn almost white when he looked up the reference. This is insanity. Director Zinn swirled agitatedly. You can't just turn our cargo ships into unpredictable environments that make pirates question their life choices. Chen suggested. That's exactly what we're going to do. Pirates rely on knowing what to expect. We're going to take that away from them. The cost, someone began, is less than what you're losing now. Martinez interrupted, displaying a cost analysis that was surprisingly thorough. We've factored in everything, including therapeutic counseling for crew members who might be disturbed by our methods. After hours of debate, most of the proposals were approved, though Ixel suspected it was more from resignation than enthusiasm. As the meeting broke up, he noticed Wong and Rodriguez huddled over a tablet, snickering about something called Home Alone. Captain Chen, he called out, your team seems enthusiastic about this assignment. Chen's expression turned serious. Pirates think they can take whatever they want because they have better technology. We're going to show them why humans got to space despite having inferior technology. Sometimes the best solution isn't the most advanced. It's the one your enemy least expects. And what should we expect? That's the beauty of it, Chairman. Even we don't know exactly how this will play out. We have plans, but humans excel at improvising when those plans meet reality. As Ixal watched the humans leave, chattering excitedly about their preparations, he realized that for the first time since the pirate attacks began, he felt genuine hope. It was accompanied by genuine terror, but according to his research, humans often claimed those emotions were closely related. The next week was a blur of activity as the human team began implementing their changes. The loading dock became a workshop of controlled chaos, with crew members alternatively fascinated and horrified by the modifications being made. Wong had taken to cackling manically while working on her surprises, which Rodriguez assured everyone was perfectly normal human behavior during creative projects. Call approached Ixal's office on the 7th day, his leaves practically gray with stress. "Sir, the humans have requested permission to make promotional materials." Promotional materials. They want to leak rumors about new experimental quantum phase valuable cargo being transported on our ships. But sir, we don't have any such cargo. That's the point, Ixal realized, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence as he understood. They're baiting a trap. Is this really what we've come to? Deliberately attracting pirates. Ixal watched through his office window as Chen's team tested one of their modifications, which seemed to involve a cargo container's gravity plating randomly reversing. No call. This is what the pirates have driven us to. They wanted our cargo. Let's give them something unforgettable. Unpredictable variables. The Stellar Route's freighter, Persistent Prophet, cruised through the Carina sector, it told supposedly laden with experimental quantum phase technology. In reality, it carried little more than basic supplies and a great deal of surprises. Captain Chen watched from the bridge as her team made final preparations. Quantum signature beacon is active, Wong reported, her fingers dancing across her console, broadcasting just enough leaked data to make us irresistible. Martinez, how's our special cargo looking? All traps. Excuse me, security measures are armed and ready. Martinez grinned. Containers are rigged with everything from glitter bombs to gravitational flip fields. Peters has the maze sections ready, and Rodriguez's special surprises are primed. The ship's alien crew watched these preparations with a mixture of fascination and dread. They'd spent the past 3 weeks learning to navigate the humans' modifications, though most still refused to enter certain cargo sections without an escort. Contact. The sensor operator's crystalline form chimed in alarm. 3 vessels dropping out of quantum space. No, 5. 7. They're using some kind of quantum masking technology. Right on schedule, Chen smiled. Everyone remember your positions. And remember, have fun. The pirates' initial hail was textbook. A demand for surrender, threats of consequences, the usual. Chen responded with an equally textbook panic, complete with stuttering and begging. The lead pirate ship, easily 3 times the size of the freighter, moved into docking position. They're deploying quantum tunnelers, Wong reported. Standard configuration. And they're through the outer hull. Exactly where we wanted them. The first sign that this wasn't a normal raid came when the pirates' advance team hit the accidentally unlocked cargo bay. Their quantum tunneling technology had bypassed all the standard security measures, exactly as planned. What they hadn't expected was the complete absence of artificial gravity, combined with holographic duplicates of every surface. Team 1 is experiencing spatial disorientation, Peters reported with satisfaction. They're trying to use magnetic boots, but the surfaces they're seeing don't match physical reality. Team 2 is approaching the honeypot container. Now, the pirates' second team, following their standard protocol, went straight for the most heavily guarded container. the obvious trap that no one would believe was actually a trap. The resulting explosion of glitter filled the entire cargo bay with shimmering particles that would take months to completely remove. Team 3 is attempting to bypass the security on Hold 4, Martins announced, activating Kevin protocols. What followed was a symphony of chaos as the pirates encountered a series of increasingly absurd obstacles. Cargo containers that appeared valuable turned out to be filled with quick-hardening foam. Gravity plating randomly reversed, sending unanchored pirates tumbling. Holographic walls appeared and disappeared, leading them in circles. "They're trying to hack our systems," Wong reported gleefully. "Feeding them the special package now." The pirates' sophisticated quantum computers, attempting to gain control of the ship's systems, instead downloaded what the humans called a torrent of cat videos. Thousands of hours of ancient Earth felines doing inexplicable things began flooding their neural networks. Main pirate vessel is attempting emergency quantum retrieval of their boarding teams, the sensor operator reported, their crystalline form vibrating with unexpected amusement. But they can't get a lock through all that glitter. Fun fact about glitter, Rodriguez commented. It interferes with quantum scanning in the most annoying ways. They'll have to physically extract their teams. Speaking of which, the pirates, now trying to retreat through their quantum tunnels, discovered that the tunnels had been filled with what humans called silly string, a seemingly harmless but incredibly persistent substance that fouled equipment and refused to be ignored. Chen watched the chaos unfold with professional satisfaction. Now for Phase 2. Wong. Broadcasting on all frequencies, Wong confirmed, and uploading to the pirate network. Throughout the sector, every criminal comm channel began receiving footage of the raid. The mighty Nexus pirates, terror of the shipping lanes, were shown tumbling through zero gravity, covered in glitter and silly string, being herded like cattle through holographic mazes by cargo containers that occasionally sprouted cartoonish boxing gloves. "They're retreating," the sensor operator announced unnecessarily. The pirate ships were already turning away, their formation broken as each captain apparently decided this job wasn't worth the embarrassment. "Pursuit course," Chen ordered. "Let's not waste all Rodriguez's other surprises." Are we chasing the pirates?" The helm officer's tentacles writhed in confusion. "They're not the only ones who can be unpredictable," Chen replied. "Wong, prepare the audio package." As the persistent prophet pursued the retreating pirates, its external speakers began broadcasting what the humans called classic musical numbers from something called Disney. The sight of one of the sector's most notorious pirate fleets fleeing from a cargo ship while being serenaded by "It's a Small World After All" would become the stuff of spacer legend. In his office aboard Central Station, Ixel watched the transmitted footage with all four eyes wide open. Beside him, Call's leaves had taken on a distinctly greenish tinge, the Verdani equivalent of laughter. "They turned our cargo ship into a funhouse," Ixel finished, "and documented everything for the entertainment of the sector. The pirates' reputation will never recover." "But sir, the mess, the cleanup costs, are nothing compared to the value of showing the sector that the Nexus pirates can be beaten," Ixel replied. "And not just beaten, but humiliated. How many shipping companies do you think will be calling us, asking about our new security measures?" Call's leaves rustled thoughtfully. "The humans planned this. All of it. The leaked data, the embarrassing footage, even the music. Of course they did. And this was just their first operation." Ixel found himself anticipating, rather than dreading, what would come next. "Tell me, Call, have you ever heard of something humans call viral marketing? Spreading chaos." The conference room aboard Central Station had changed significantly in the month since the persistent prophet incident. Gone were the rigid rows of seats and formal presentation screens. Instead, the room had been redesigned with what the humans called a creative space layout, complete with movable furniture and walls covered in writable surfaces. Director Zinn found the chaos unsettling, their gaseous forms swirling in agitation as they watched Chen's security team present their latest results. Pirate attacks have dropped 60% across our shipping lanes, Martins reported, manipulating a holographic display that somehow incorporated animated Earth cats between data points. More importantly, our shipping contracts have increased by 40%. Everyone wants the company that humiliated the Nexus pirates. The financial implications are even better than we projected, Wong added, pulling up another display. The footage from our encounters has gone viral across the galactic net. We're not just a shipping company anymore. We're entertainment. Entertainment. Director Pell flickered incredulously. We're a serious corporate entity. We're a serious corporate entity that's trending on all major social channels, Rodriguez corrected. Our ships are now running at 90% capacity because clients want to be able to say their cargo was transported by those crazy humans company. Ixel watched his board members process this information. The numbers were undeniable. Stellar Routes wasn't just surviving anymore. It was thriving. But the changes went far deeper than their security operations. The humans' influence had spread through the company like a benevolent virus. Crew members who had initially feared the security team's modifications were now suggesting their own improvements. A Vorelian engineer had proposed what she called quantum booby traps after watching something humans called Looney Tunes. A crystalline navigation officer had developed a new route plotting algorithm based on the chaotic patterns of Earth jazz music. We've also seen unexpected benefits in crew morale, Peters continued. After we introduced movie nights featuring Earth action films, emergency response times improved by 30%. Turns out watching humans overcome ridiculous odds is inspirational across species. Speaking of inspiration, Chen interjected, we've received over 300 applications from other species wanting to join our security teams, including, surprisingly, several reformed pirates who decided they'd rather work for us than against us. Reformed pirates. The crystalline director's structure chimed in alarm. We can't trust. Actually, Wong interrupted, pulling up another display. Human history shows that former pirates often make excellent security consultants. They know all the tricks, and once they switch sides, they tend to be incredibly loyal, especially if you make the job fun enough. The meeting continued, each report more surprising than the last. Stellar Route ships were now known for unpredictable routes, impossible maneuvers, and cargo holds that seemed to defy physics. Pirates never knew if they were targeting a legitimate shipment or walking into what humans called a prank war. But the most significant change was in the company's culture. Alien crew members were beginning to adopt human traits, taking calculated risks, thinking creatively, even developing their own versions of human humor. The rigid hierarchies and protocols that had defined corporate space shipping for centuries were giving way to something new and distinctly human-influenced. After the meeting, Ixel found Chen waiting in his office. I assume you have another outrageous proposal, he asked, noticing the familiar glint in her eye. The board seems to be adapting well to our methods, she observed. Even Director Zinn only had 3 panic swirls during today's meeting. They can't argue with success, Ixel agreed. Though I'm still not sure about this viral marketing approach. Deliberately leaking footage of our security measures seems counterintuitive. Chen smiled. That's what makes it effective. Pirates now have to wonder if every ship is trapped, if every easy target is bait, if every routine cargo run is actually an elaborate setup for their humiliation. We're not just defending our ships anymore. We're waging psychological warfare on the entire concept of piracy in this sector. And our competitors, they're already trying to copy our methods. Let them try. They're thinking logically, looking at our tactics and trying to replicate them. But they're missing the fundamental principle, which is, chaos isn't something you plan. It's something you embrace. Every ship in our fleet now has its own unique personality, its own style of crazy. Pirates can't prepare for what we'll do next, because even we don't know what we'll do next. We've turned unpredictability into an art form. Ixel's secondary hearts fluttered with what he now recognized as excitement rather than anxiety. "And your new proposal?" "We've been thinking about expanding into passenger services," Chen said, her grin widening. "Imagine luxury cruises where every journey is a unique adventure. We've already got a waiting list of thrill seekers willing to pay premium rates." "You want to turn our cargo ships into cruise ships?" "Not exactly. We want to create a new kind of space travel experience, something that combines the excitement of our security measures with the comfort of luxury accommodation. We're calling it Adventure Class." As Chen laid out her plans, Ixel realized that hiring humans hadn't just saved his company. It had transformed it into something entirely new. Stellar Routes was no longer just a shipping company adapting human methods. It was becoming a hybrid entity, combining alien efficiency with human creativity in ways that had never been seen before. "There's one more thing," Chen added, pulling out a datapad. "We've been getting interesting messages from some of our former pirate adversaries. It seems they're not just interested in reforming. They're interested in franchising. Franchising. They want to license our security methods for their own protection. Apparently, there's a growing market for anti-piracy services that don't just stop attacks, but make them entertaining." Ixel looked out his office window at the busy shipping lanes beyond. Somewhere out there, the next generation of space commerce was taking shape, and at its heart was the controlled chaos that only humans could truly master. "Schedule a board meeting," he decided. "And Chen, bring your wildest ideas this time." "Sir," she replied with a grin, "I haven't even shown you wild yet." Evolution through chaos. 1 year after hiring their first human security team, Stellar Routes had become unrecognizable, in the best possible way. The company's central station, once a model of corporate efficiency, now resembled what humans called the startup campus. Holographic displays showed real-time footage from ships across the sector, each vessel now famous for its unique brand of controlled chaos. Ixel stood in the newly renovated command center, watching the screens with all 4 eyes as the drama unfolded. The persistent prophet, their original test case, was now leading a fleet of converted cargo cruise ships on what humans called a Pirates of the Caribbean experience. Paying passengers got to experience simulated pirate attacks, complete with mock-boarding actions and emergency maneuvers, all while enjoying luxury accommodations. "Latest numbers are in," Call reported, his leaves now permanently tinged with the green of amusement. "Our passenger division is outperforming projections by 200%. The waiting list for adventure class trips is now 6 months long." But it was the freight division that had truly evolved beyond recognition. Every ship in the fleet had developed its own personality, its own signature style of dealing with threats. The Star Dancer was known for its gravity-defying evasive maneuvers, choreographed to Earth music. The Quantum Quest had turned its cargo holds into ever-changing mazes that drove would-be thieves to madness. The Laughing Lady had become famous for coating pirate ships in what humans called rainbow glitter bombs, marking them for ridicule across the sector. "Captain Chen's team is ready for the presentation," Cal added. "The Galactic Commerce Council representatives have arrived." The council chamber was packed with representatives from every major shipping company in the sector, along with a hefty contingent of former pirates who now worked as security consultants. Chen stood at the center, looking perfectly at home among the diverse array of alien species. "Ladies, gentlemen, and beings of all configurations," she began. "1 year ago, Stellar Routes faced bankruptcy from pirate attacks. Today, we're here to present a new paradigm in space commerce, one that turns the very concept of security on its head." The holographic display came to life, showing their ships in action. But instead of traditional battle footage, it showed something entirely different. Pirates encountering cargo holds filled with anti-gravity ball pits. Boarding parties being led through endless loops of Rick Astley's "Never Gonna Give You Up." Sophisticated quantum hackers having their systems overwhelmed with cat memes and dancing baby videos. "Traditional security is about prevention," Chen continued. "Our approach is about engagement. We don't just stop pirates. We make them question their career choices. We don't just protect cargo. We turn every journey into a story worth sharing. The statistics spoke for themselves. Piracy in stellar routes operating sectors had dropped by 90%. But more importantly, over 60% of former pirates had enrolled in what the company now called its Career Transition Program, trading their rating skills for legitimate employment in security, entertainment, or what humans called ethical hacking. But the real innovation, Chen revealed, is what we call the chaos theory of commerce. The old model of space shipping was based on predictability, fixed routes, standard procedures, logical progressions. We've proven that embracing controlled chaos doesn't just improve security, it creates entirely new business opportunities. The presentation continued, showing how stellar routes had transformed from a traditional shipping company into something entirely new. Their ships now carried cargo, passengers, and entertainment content. Each journey generated its own stream of viral videos, social media content, and what humans called memes. The company had become a cultural phenomenon. We're not just moving goods anymore, Chen explained. We're creating experiences. Every ship in our fleet is a potential stage, every crew member a potential performer, and every pirate encounter a potential viral sensation. The council representatives watched in fascination as she laid out the next phase of their plans. Stellar Routes was proposing a new classification of space travel, entertainment-enhanced commerce. Ships would be designed not just for efficiency, but for adaptability and entertainment value. Security would be integrated with showmanship, turning the very act of space transport into a form of performance art. After the presentation, Ixel found himself surrounded by council members eager to discuss partnerships and licensing agreements. The company that had once been on the brink of bankruptcy was now setting the standards for an entirely new approach to space commerce. "I still can't quite believe how far we've come," he commented to Chen later, in his office. "When I hired your team, I was just hoping to save my company. Instead, we've revolutionized an entire industry." Chen smiled. "That's the thing about humans. We don't just solve problems. We transform them into opportunities. You hired us to fight pirates, but what we really did was change the rules of the game. And the pirates? Most of them are too busy applying for jobs in our entertainment division to cause trouble. Turns out, planning elaborate heists and creating entertaining ship security measures require a lot of the same skills." Through his office window, Ixel watched as another adventure-class ship departed the station, its hull gleaming with what humans called mood-reactive paint. In the distance, a former pirate vessel, now converted into a training ship, conducted mock raids for enthusiastic students of all species. "You know," he mused, "when I first researched humans, everything I read said you were crazy. That you did things no rational species would consider. That you turned every challenge into a game and every threat into an opportunity for entertainment. And now I understand that what looks like insanity to the rest of the galaxy is actually a different kind of wisdom. You don't just think outside the box. You turn the box into something else entirely, then paint it in glitter and sell tickets to watch it transform." Chen laughed. "That might be the most accurate description of humanity I've ever heard. So, ready to hear about our plans for the next quarter? We've been thinking about something we call Space Ninja Warrior." As Ixel listened to her next outrageous proposal, he realized that this was perhaps humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy, not their strength or their technology, or even their courage, but their ability to see possibility where others saw only problems. They had taken a dying shipping company and turned it into something that defied categorization, something that combined commerce, entertainment, and security in ways no one had ever imagined. And somewhere out in the vastness of space, a stellar route ship was preparing another surprise for anyone who dared to threaten it, proving once again that in a universe of logic and order, sometimes the most powerful force was a little bit of human chaos.